Hey guys, it's Brandon. Happy Wednesday. We're going to be looking at Psalm chapter 1. This is the psalm that we've together been working on memorizing. And I thought I would help us out by meditating on Psalm 1 as it tells us to meditate. And by meditating, it actually does help us memorize the chapter. So I thought it would be a good idea to unpack what Psalm 1 is about and study it together. So I just want to show you my process of studying a psalm. We have done a psalm before to look at chiastic structures, but this is going to be a little bit different than that. So let's just go ahead and start by reading it. Blessed is the man who walks not in the counsel of the wicked, nor stands in the way of sinners, nor sits in the seat of scoffers. But his delight is in the law of the Lord, and on his law he meditates day and night. He is like a tree planted by streams of water, that yields its fruit in its season, and its leaf does not wither. And in all that he does he prospers. The wicked are not so. They are like chaff that the wind drives away. Therefore the wicked will not stand in the judgment, nor sinners in the congregation of the righteous. For the Lord knows the way of the righteous, but the way of the wicked will perish. The first thing I want to point out is that verse 6 here actually outlines for us how to read this first chapter. We have this dichotomy of the way of the righteous, the way of the wicked here. And we see that throughout the first 5 verses. We have here to start out with blessed. Blessed can also mean happy. You say happy is the man, blessed is the man who walks not in the counsel of the wicked, nor stands in the way of sinners, nor sits in the seat of scoffers. Here again you have that phrase, the way. But his delight is in the law of the Lord, and on his law he meditates day and night. This is an important word here, this conjunction. Some translations will say, instead, his delight is in the law of the Lord. And really what this is doing is saying you have this contrast. He doesn't do this, he doesn't do that, nor does he do that. But instead, he delights. And then verse 3 jumps off of it. He, who is he? It goes back to the man, right? The person who doesn't do this or that, but instead he delights and he meditates. And then verse 3 tells us what he'll be like. He's like a tree planted by streams of water that yields its fruit in season, its leaf does not wither, and all that he does he prospers. The wicked are not so. So we have this dichotomy here between the man versus the wicked. And we could go back up here and say, how can we categorize the man? He does not walk with the wicked. He does not stand with sinners, and he does not sit with scoffers. You could also say mockers. But he does delight, and he meditates. Now we'll see that the wicked here are different. The wicked are not so. They are like chaff that the wind drives away. Therefore the wicked will not stand in the judgment, nor sinners in the congregation of the righteous. So the wicked, by contrast, they do not stand up in judgment. And this is more of a stand up in the face of judgment. They don't last. They fall in the judgment. And then here they do not. There's an implied verb here. Nor sinners will they stand in the congregation of the righteous. And that just means they won't be part of the righteous. They won't be part of the community of the righteous. And so here verse 3 and verse 4 are contrasted. And I'll use here a different color. Here the man, the he, he's planted by water. He yields fruit. His leaf doesn't wither. And to wrap it all up, he prospers. The wicked, on the other hand, are like chaff, and they're blown away. So just in conclusion here, we can go back to verse 6 here. The way of the wicked and the way of the righteous, or the way of the righteous and the way of the wicked, and how they're categorized. And the message of Psalm 1 is that the one who prospers follows the way of the righteous and avoids the way of the wicked. And we see back up here that the way of the wicked that the blessed man avoids starts with walking with the wicked, and then it involves stopping and standing with the wicked, and then it involves sitting with the sinners and scoffers. And you see this progression of almost like the man begins by dancing around with the counsel of wicked people and of wicked things. And that becomes stopping and dwelling in wickedness. And then after all that, it becomes being planted and rooted in wickedness. And so this sitting here stems back to just walking in the counsel. And so part of this first warning of what it means to be blessed and walk the way of the righteous path is watch out how you walk. Watch out how you start, because there's a development of falling deeper and deeper into the path of destruction. It begins by walking and then standing and then dwelling. there's this progression here. And then the other thing that we see with the way of the righteous is that he doesn't just watch out for this progression of wickedness here, but he also delights in the law of the Lord, and he meditates on it day and night. And what this means is that we could say the law of the Lord is obedience. What the psalmist would consider the law of the Lord isn't just the Bible, it's the commandments of God. It's to delight in the things that God has commanded, and in delighting in the path of life that He's shown. It's not just following it and obeying out of duty, but the righteous man would rather be living the life of the wicked person. But the righteous man actually delights in the obedience. He delights in fleeing temptation. He delights in fleeing from sin. He delights in doing justice and being selfless. He delights in having compassion and showing love to his neighbors. He doesn't do those things out of duty, but he delights in them. And then he also meditates on the law of the Lord, on the commandments of God, on the way of life, day and night. And that's what we're hoping you will do by memorizing Psalm 1, is that you'll meditate on this psalm day and night. You'll chew on it and recite it over and over again. This word comes from to mutter. That you would have the words of God in your mouth. You would mutter them day and night, and you would think about them and have them on the front of your mind at all times. And the only reason you would ever do that is because you delight. And so my first hope for you is that you would delight in the path of life that God has for each and every one of us. And only then will the meditation and the muttering of God's word day and night come. I hope you guys have a great day, and I'll see you again next week, hopefully. All right, bye.